Hello and welcome to Connect with Chris, where we catch up with distinguished alumni from the School of Communications here at Quinnipiac University. Joining us in this episode is John Lazzaro. He's a 2014 master's graduate from the school. John is now a documentary filmmaker and photographer based out of Long Island. John, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you have a new book out. It's called Vanishing New York.
Yep.
Tell us about the book.
Sure. So Vanishing New York, Ruins Across the Empire State. It's a photography book that was published actually this month by Schiffer. And it's a culmination of a 3-year project where I traveled the entire state of New York and documented various ruins throughout the Empire State, and visited each region and showed how each region of New York was significant to the overall infrastructure of the state by what's abandoned in terms of buildings and historical sites.
And how did you find these locations?
So a lot of research and just a lot of networking with friends, fellow photographers that also like this subject. We call it, it's a colloquial term, urban exploration, but it's essentially you're visiting abandoned ruins all throughout the United States.
Okay. And I was looking through the book earlier, there's an inebriate asylum in New York.
Yeah.
Was that the weirdest thing you found, or was that not even close?
Not even close. I would have to say, like, probably the strangest and at least probably my favorite place that I visited for the book is a place called Seaview Hospital in Staten Island. And it was a former tuberculosis hospital where they used to do a lot of research for the cure in developing antibiotics and whatnot. So there's also a lot of old equipment left over there. Okay. So when I say old equipment, I mean wooden wheelchairs with straps, old X-ray equipment from the 1940s, patient records, anything that you could think of that would be in a place like that. I stumbled across. So that was pretty interesting, pretty wild.
So it's all just sitting there.
All just sitting there, abandoned. Yep.
And how do you get into it? How do you get into the building?
I think when something is left to its own devices, things fall apart. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of historical places like this see vandalism over the years. Okay. So, things become a little more accessible that way. I noticed
a fair amount of graffiti.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is something that you run into. Yeah. For me, I've always had an appreciation for history, for storytelling, and that's what I like to do. I like to approach these types of places, solely with telling the history of a place through photographs. What place did this serve? What was its purpose?
Okay, and who would be attracted to this book? Who would want to look at this?
Well, probably anyone that lives in New York, for one. Okay. But I think anyone that's a fan of photography or history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a member of a few, there's an art gallery on Long Island called the Firefly Gallery that I'm a member of, and I have my work on display there all the time. And a majority of people that come and have an interest in this sort of topic, this sort of artwork, it's a much older demographic, which is really surprising to me. It's not teenagers or college students or high school students like one would think.
Yeah.
I find that to be pretty fascinating.
And this is not your first book.
No.
So tell us about the other book that you've done.
Sure. So throughout 2018 to 2019, I self-published a book called The Walls Still Talk: A Photographic Journey Through Kings Park Psychiatric Center. So that was at one point one of the largest state hospitals on Long Island. It operated from 1895 until 1996. So the ruins of that hospital are now a state park. So you're free to roam around the grounds. I mean, the buildings are off limits, but there's about 35 or so left of a once 150 building campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how did you find that?
So I live about 15 minutes away from it.
Okay.
A lot of people ask me, how did I get into this topic, photographing old ruins? Yeah. Well, I guess that story goes back to when I was in high school. So I used to run indoor track over at Suffolk Community College. And between Suffolk Community College and then Pilgrim Psychiatric Center, which was another state hospital, there's a highway called the Saginaw Coast Parkway, and in order to get on the exit to go home, I had to drive through the remnants of an old asylum, pretty much, to find the exit. So one night after the meet, I was driving, and the headlights of my car cast a weird reflection off one of the street signs, and for a split second, I thought it was someone in a straitjacket. So I think ever since then, I've been pretty interested in that sort of topic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Just a broader question, how did you get interested in photography and documentary filmmaking?
Sure. Yeah, so that really stemmed from college. I went to the University of Vermont for my undergrad. I double majored in English and film studies, so I started making documentary shorts when I was in college. I've made 6 so far to date, and then photography pretty much gravitated or grew from that. There's a lot of similarities between the two mediums, such as like storytelling, shot composition, lighting, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with John Lazzaro on Connect with Chris. Hello, we're back on Connect with Chris with John Lazzaro. He's a 2014 master's graduate from the Quinnipiac School of Communications. John, you did a documentary 4 years ago called Masters of Cruelty.
I did.
Tell our viewers about the topic and what interested you in that.
Sure. So Masters of Cruelty, I finished that documentary in 2018, and it's about animal abuse in the state of New York and how Long Island specifically handles animal abuse cases, specifically the difference between Nassau and Suffolk County.
Okay. And what interested you in that topic?
Just from being a pet owner and just seeing a lot of sad, terrible stories on the news. It's something that I felt I wanted to address.
Yeah. Okay. Not your first documentary, though. You had done a documentary earlier, 2010.
Yes.
What was that one about?
So it's called Hindsight, and Hindsight addressed the heroin epidemic on Long Island, as told through the views of different people that were struggling against it in some way.
Okay. John, you came here for your master's degree. What attracted you to Quinnipiac?
So, like I said, I majored in film and television studies in English at the University of Vermont. I wanted to continue my education, and I wanted to go into something with marketing, communications, specifically in the school sector. So, just from doing a bunch of research, I found Quinnipiac, and they offered an online program, which afforded me the opportunity to work full time and also pursue that degree.
Okay.
Which was great.
And what do you feel like that added to what you already knew as an undergrad?
Yeah, so it really, one of the most beneficial things, and especially with doing this book and self-publishing The Walls Still Talk, is I got to use a lot of different software, particularly InDesign. So that's if you're working in graphic design, that is the go-to software that you would want to use when laying out different pieces of artwork. And throughout the process of the production of the book, I had to provide like a manuscript, cover samples, and mock page layouts. So a lot of the things I learned through taking different courses at Quinnipiac, including a graphic design course, I was able to tap into that, and that actually helped me with this project, or actually both projects, so to say.
Very
so
cool.
I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, John, this is the part of Connect with Chris where we're going to get up close and personal with you. I'm going to ask you some either-or questions.
Okay.
I'm going to want an honest answer.
Sure.
And I may ask you for an explanation.
Sure.
So let's start with hamburgers or hot dogs.
I have to say hot dogs.
And what do you take on your hot dog?
Spicy mustard, sauerkraut, jalapenos.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
And why?
I like hiking. I like the fresh air.
Okay.
It's the beach is too. Maybe another 40 years that'll be more my thing. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Spring or fall?
Fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Change of seasons, the leaves, What is it about the fall?
It's, especially from a photographer's point of view, beautiful scenery. It's not too cold, not too hot. Everything that's seasonal that I like that comes with fall, pumpkin beer,
Okay.
scary movies, anything like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
And how do you take your coffee?
black,
Nothing?
nothing.
Wow. Hardcore.
Simple taste.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
And how do you take your vanilla?
Well,
Do you like it ice cream?
I would have to say ice cream. I mean, my favorite ice cream is strawberry, but
Okay.
I do not like chocolate at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, that's too sweet.
Okay. Mornings or nights?
I would say mornings.
Okay.
I get up pretty early, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Drama or comedy?
I'd say drama.
Okay. And do you have a favorite drama? Movie, TV show, anything?
Yeah, so I would say the movie Moneyball.
Okay.
Yeah, it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, if you're a baseball fan, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some humorous parts into Moneyball.
There's some humorous parts, but yeah, it's I would say it's like an underdog drama for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steak or seafood?
Seafood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a seafood preference?
Linguine with clam sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. This is a question that's more local to New Haven, Hamden area. So if you don't have an answer, that's fine.
Okay.
Pepe's or Sally's for pizza?
I've never been to either.
Okay.
What would you recommend?
I'm a white clam at Sally's kind of guy.
Okay.
But there's other pizza places in the area that other people prefer as well.
Yeah.
So, all right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
And you have a dog?
No, my parents do, and I'm
parents?
allergic to cats.
Oh, you're allergic
Yeah,
to cats.
yeah.
Okay. All right, John, most important question. This
Okay.
is the one that's going to make or break our relationship.
Okay.
Red Sox or Yankees?
I mean, I'm gonna have to say Yankees. Yeah.
All right. Did you grow up a Yankees fan?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right.
All right. I'd like to thank my guest, John Lazzaro, for being on this episode of Connect with Chris. And be sure to check out our podcast, Uncommon Grounds, where I interview students from here at the Quinnipiac University School of Communications. Thanks for joining us.